Hi everyone. Welcome to Wellness Wisdom Wednesdays. And I have no idea what week we're up to, just going with the flow and waiting for a few people to come on live. Hopefully it's later than I normally do it. I normally do it during the day. Don't know if anybody will catch me live. Oh, there's somebody on. If you are on live, please comment because I can't see. Let's hopefully comments work. Can't see who's on unless you comment. Hey, Callie. Lovely to have you join me. Have you got sunshine over there today? Because Joanne sent me a Snapchat and it was of this beautiful beach water. The ocean was looking glorious and it was sunny and warm. And it's rainy here. It's not cold, but rainy, which my gardens need it, so that's okay. How are you doing? And somebody else is live too. So today, let's get on with it. So today I wanted to talk about our responsibility in our healing journeys. Oh, hey Prue. Lovely to have you join me. That's awesome. I love that we're in sync. Isn't it great? So we're going to talk about our responsibility in our healing and our well-being, because I put up a post about how we're conditioned really to give our power away to outside of ourselves when it comes to our health and well-being, when it comes to a lot of things actually. And I feel like we're going through a really huge transformational time of taking back our power on all different levels and about all different things. Oh, awesome, Callie. That's fantastic. Ooh, exciting. I was talking to Annalise the other day, last week when I was over, and she was really looking forward to it, so it's awesome. And I wanted to talk about that and bring this into the talking about wellness and well-being, because I think it is such a big factor in whether we heal fully or whether we up-level our well-being and our health. And I noticed this hugely in my own healing journey. You know, like when I was really sick, I really needed support, and there was a part of me that just wanted somebody else to come in and heal me, because it would be so much easier, especially when you're not very well. You want that. You want somebody to come in and just do it for you. And I know even in my own workplace, my practice, people coming to see me, that I've had clients over the years that just want to come in and just have somebody else heal them, but they don't want to actually do the work themselves or take the responsibility on themselves. So there's a difference. You can go and have healing with somebody, or go and enjoy a modality with someone, and still allow and receive and all of that awesome stuff without making the other person responsible for your healing. So it's more of a mindset and a paradigm shift within us. And I think in our society, it's so easy to go, just want to go to the doctor and get fixed. You know, like it's very common, you know, when you're feeling really crappy with a cold or a flu, how many go off to the doctor hoping the doctor is going to fix them, and they come home and the doctor's like just giving them some antibiotics or take some Panadol and rest, and people are like, I just want to feel better. You know, when we're in that state, we do just want to feel better. But healing truly does happen from within us. And so we must take it back to us. We must take it back to it being our responsibility and flowing from us. And as I was talking before about when I was sick, I really wanted somebody to take that over. You know, if they could just fix it, if they could just get it to start with, if they could just understand and work with me, that would be awesome. And then if they could do it, that would be great. But I think it was part of my, I'm not sure if it was lesson, but really embodying my own wisdom and understanding that all the things that I had done previously, all the tools that I had in my toolbox, so to speak, all came in so necessary for my healing, and to really understand that process, and that I had to do it for myself as well. And that's not about not receiving support and help. This is about it just knowing that the healing comes from within me. It's not going to be a pill outside of me, or even a herb, or a modality. That those things are all there to support you to unlock your own body's healing ability, because truly it's the body that does the healing. You know, if you think of a broken bone, it's not the actual doctor or the actual setting of the bone that heals it. It's the actual body that knits it all back together. And it's the same with all levels of our healing. Okay. They've just stopped the flow. I'm like, again. They keep doing this to me. I think I'm learning how to just be in it. They're having a little game with me, I'm sure. So have you guys got any questions or any thoughts about that, about responsibility? Hey, Helen. Oh, it's so lovely to have you on. How are you doing? Yeah, just talking about responsibility and healing, which is probably something I know you've been on a healing journey in recent years, and so you would have come up against this, you know, that it's actually comes from within when we want to heal fully and come into alignment with our own well-being and wellness. And something that happens as well is when you put that responsibility onto somebody else as well, it's a lot to take on. When I look at a lot of the Western medical system, you know, they're quite snowed under in the sense of responsibility that is dumped on them. The sense of responsibility that is dumped on them to have this perfect world for them to be able to fix everything and to be able to keep us all in this really high level of health and well-being. You know, we expect that. We expect that from the government. We expect that from all of these things outside of ourselves. Oh, so good, Helen. I'm glad you're doing great. Rather than understanding that we need to take responsibility, you know, we can look and blame the government for not teaching us about healthy organic plant food diets, you know, to really healthy eating, or we can educate ourselves and take that responsibility back and go, actually, it's my body. I get to choose what I put in it, and I can go and learn, and I can also listen to my body, what's going on in my body, what feels really, really good, and look to knowledge as a way of supporting your own inner knowing and your inner guidance around that. You know, like my husband being a personal trainer, there's a lot that come through in personal training areas where there is this wanting to lose weight or wanting to up-level their health and fitness, but not always shifting and changing and taking that responsibility for changing their lifestyle in other areas. So we also work in steps and levels, you know, like we can't change everything all at once. So it's just about going, okay, I'm responsible for my health and well-being here. Kelly, yes. Kelly said some foods feel really good at the time, then really bad later. Yes. Actually, I'm going to have a chat to you about that. That leads me into something else we might have a chat to. I wasn't planning on chatting about this, but so I have been doing a bit of a liver cleanse, parasite cleanse for my liver. And I have offered that out as a healing to the collective too, for anybody who is interested in it. And what I noticed come up, which I'm having to work through a bit today, was a lot of cravings for crap food. So I've had my chocolate today, and I've had some twisties today, and some burger rings, by the way, just a little packet, but I have had some. And I noticed that my body... Thank you, Kelly, for bringing it up. It's awesome. So I noticed myself going into, oh my God, I'm doing this liver cleanse and I'm eating this crap food. My body is trying to cleanse and I'm filling it full of crap. That's no good. Like, I've had a lot of good stuff today too, but I noticed that there was this guilt or this, oh my God, what am I doing to my body? And what was happening when I tuned into it is that the patterns that are being released by my liver are the patterns that are connected to me wanting those foods. So they're the numbing patterns. I don't want to feel the emotion and the anger that are caught in my liver. I don't want to feel those programs and patterns and experiences and buried shit, basically. And I don't want to have all of that. And so we take on food to numb us, or that's at the same frequency. It's vibrating at the same frequency of those patterns. And so, yeah, Callie, that's a great insight. Callie's when she eats macas, she's noticed she goes into this manic state. It's amazing when we start to become really aware of our body's reaction to the food. So I noticed my body lowering its vibration to the food. I noticed that the food was meeting the patterns that were being released, and the parasites themselves, are grasping for these foods to stay there because they are vibrating at that frequency too. And so I then was able to let go of the guilt, relax a little bit and go, okay, I will just do my next choice. I will do better. And remember, I'm doing a cleanse here, not not wanting to fill myself up with the old patterns again. Eat like yes, super fast. That's because a lot of those foods, so when we're talking about macas and things like that, a lot of those foods are really, really full of calories, but no nutrients. So your body, like, it triggers stuff in your brain. It's specifically designed to trigger in your brain certain reactions so that you don't feel full and you want more and you want more and you want more. Also think about the energy of foods like that. They come from a place of lack. They are targeted to lack, to the energy of lack, and they so when you're taking them in, it's triggering any lack programs within you. And those lack programs go, oh my God, we need more because we're not satisfied. We need to have more. We're not satisfied. We need to have more. Or I need to have more quickly before other people get it, before it runs out, or before somebody else has it. So it's really, really awesome insight, Callie, into what the food is doing when you're eating it. It's great. Scarcity. I definitely feel that when I eat it. Yeah. Yep. It's amazing, isn't it? And yet it's interesting to play around with. It's really good to have these experiences, to not go, to not make ourselves wrong or bad or go into guilt or shame over it. It's really great to just observe our experiences with the food and our choices and what it is meeting within us, why are we wanting to make that choice at that time, what is it serving, and then also, how can we shift that? Is there another choice that we can make to help with that? So like with that, Callie, it's like, okay, that's serving me at a scarcity level and keeping those programs in place. Is that really what I want to live with, those scarcity programs, or am I ready to release that? And you normally find as you go through a shift, like when you start eating, say you're having super greens and having lots of green juices and things like that, you'll shift those scarcity programs that are being held in your liver, for one thing, because they're cleansing your body, cleansing your liver, and they cleanse the cells, the vibration, the toxins that are all vibrating at that scarcity level. And of course, when we start doing that, we can go through a bit of a releasing process and a detoxing process. So, yeah. Donna's quarter pounders are my go-to comfort food. It's replaced chocolate. Well, at least it's a movement to something different, Donna. Isn't it funny how we change that and it moves along? I always think it's fascinating to see, okay, is that a shift in my being, or is it me avoiding that I need to shift that? Need to find an alternative for when I really don't want to cook. I have that too, trying to find something that's nutritious. So We've been, Chris and I often, because he comes home late from work, so he doesn't get home to about 20 past 8, 8:30 at night, which is great having older kids because we can have dinner that late and it doesn't matter. But what I find is that they're quite happy to have chicken nuggets or, a pie or something like that. But I can't eat those. And so I'm finding it really hard to find an alternative when I don't want to cook. And it's late. And so often we will have juices or smoothies. So we do the juices in the Vitamix. So you've got all the fibre and stuff. So there are benefits to both. Having cold pressed juices, really great nutrient shot because you've got no fibre. It's going straight through into your body. But when you want a meal replacement, they're a great alternative. So I just chuck some fruit and veg in and some herbs and drink up, and there's my meal. And I find that really, really good, Callie. So just a tip might help. Yeah. But, and I've found a few cafes that I really like their food. It's very wholesome, very filled with love, very nutritious, and they will do takeaways some nights. So that's a really, really good alternative. That's a really good point, Donna's saying, can you cook extra of the good stuff and freeze it? I have a freezer full of leftovers for days I don't feel like cooking, like today. Yeah, I don't feel like cooking today either, Donna, but I just have to cook for Chris and I because the kids are going to have pies, and Chris and I am going to do some stuffed capsicum, just chuck it in the oven. Yeah, Donna, I reckon that's a great alternative too. That's been one of my want to get to, but all the leftovers get eaten so quickly. I used to when the kids were all little, but it's been a bit harder to do. Everybody eats them all the time before I can fill up the freezer again. Kelly said I've always intended to do that. Yeah. I think it's a great way of doing it. And I know, when I was growing up, we never ever had takeaway, we lived out at the time, it was out far away from anything. There wasn't even any takeaway nearby. And so that was how it was. You either cooked or there was something in the freezer. But yeah, it never any takeaway. And I used to, when the kids were little, we'd have yogurt or cereal, something breakfasty, something easy. Probably not always the most nutritious, but better than us going down to McDonald's, I suppose. Yeah. And I think that's part of, if we come back to the responsibility. Thanks, Donna. Donna's offering for anybody who needs, you can come and empty her freezer. It's chockers. She's got lots of leftovers in there. I think that comes back to, again, the responsibility thing, taking responsibility for the foods that we put in to our body, and also the responsibility for the lifestyle that we create. And we've got to do it in steps. I think I was starting to talk about that before. Trying to change it all at once is overwhelming, but doing little things like cooking some extra for leftovers and putting them in the freezer 1 week, that's a really good shift to then, it's one little step that you can do that's not a big, huge change, that when you're feeling like you don't want to cook, you can just go to the freezer and grab it out and know that you're having good food. Hi, Pamela. Oh, it's so lovely. I don't normally call you Pamela. Hi, Pam. So lovely to have you join live. Handing responsibility over to the fast foods. Yes. And also what I've noticed is a lot of these, there is also, we've got to remember there is also both sides of it. We're handing over responsibility, but there are also programs and hooks in place to get you to do that. So it's having to be aware. It's a bit like the marketing, marketing is designed and adverts are designed to hook you in, so that it takes away your choice, and your freedom of choice. And being aware of that, being aware that that's what's happening, can really help you with doing that and not, allowing yourself to choose, from within you, rather than just choosing because you're being made to. think that made sense. Yes, believing the adverts when they say we deserve the takeaway. Isn't it amazing? Our level of self-care can be so depleted, like it's like, here, you really deserve this piece of crap. And it's not until we start going, actually, I'm a fucking queen and I deserve so much more. Like, hello? Like, I want a 3-course, nutritious, vegetarian, full of organic, beautiful food meal. Like, I'm not going for this, I deserve crap. I'm worth more. And so, yeah, it's interesting how they play on our worth. And self-care, I've noticed that there is, which is probably another whole video, that we've started to, self-care has become a bit of a buzzword, and we've started to really start to think about it in our lives and bring it in, which is awesome. But our level of self-care can be a little bit small, a little bit of, I've gone to have my nails done and I went and had a massage, rather than we really, really taking responsibility for that and up-leveling that to, actually, I cleaned up all the crap food out of my house, or I have honoured my space by creating a beautiful space for myself, or I really took time out regularly to deeply honour myself. So I think we need to, up-level that one as well. I deserve more. I want a chef to come and make it for me. Yes. Oh my God. Wouldn't you love like Jamie Oliver? Like, I am so in love with his passion for food. I would just, I would love him to come into my kitchen and cook for me. Although I really love something that's really nice for those, as we're talking about cooking and food and not wanting to cook, something that I really, really love doing is infusing the cooking with my magic. So playing around with that. And I know a beautiful friend of mine, Chloe, I'm going to give her a bit of a shout out, because she has been infusing her paints with some herbs as she's painting pictures. And I'm just like, oh, I love it. The magic is amazing, so beautiful. But what I really enjoy is bringing all of that into the food. So it's not just about putting some food together. It's about, okay, what can I bring and put into this meal today and call into this meal for each person in my household? And it just really, it nourishes me to be able to serve my family at that level, because it is something that is so, it just fills me up. It just fills me up. So, and then when I get to eat that food, it's like not only full of the nourishment of the food itself, but it's full of the nourishment that I've put in there as well, and the nourishment that gets enhanced by my whole family enjoying it. So that can be a level of self-care, is really honouring that process of cooking. And I'm only just starting to get back into that after having kids and cooking for them, and them not liking anything that you cook for however long it was while they were little. I used to love cooking before that, and we'd regularly have 3-course meals for dinner when I had, one child, and, a little baby. But after that, it got a little bit more depressing, and it would be fish fingers and frozen veg, or just a salad and, fish fingers again, or mashed potato. So it's been really, really nice to add all of this back into our food, which I'm loving. Okay, anything else I've got to speak about? Responsibility. Okay, so let's take the responsibility a little bit further as well. This one's going a bit longer than the others, but I'm loving the conversation, so let's keep going. Taking the responsibility a little bit further into, as we're being super responsible for ourselves and our wellness and our well-being, it flows on into being responsible for the planet and the earth and the people around us. So we start to, 3:33, perfect. And there's 3 people on my live video, Callie, perfect. So I've noticed that as people really start to honour themselves and take that responsibility back into themselves, they also start taking responsibility for the earth around them and for the choices that they're making that affect the earth. So they start using less plastic and becoming aware of their waste and becoming aware of their purchasing habits. You know, are they purchasing from big corporations that they don't know where that money is going? So that's something we can become more and more aware of, is the money that they're getting from us, where does that flow to? Are their choices in alignment with our choices? And that's where, when you're buying local, you know where that money's going to a certain extent, and you can find people that you align greatly with in those ways. So that's another level of responsibility. When we talk about change as well, so often we want the government to do stuff. We want the government to make changes, and it's probably perfect to talk about this with the yes vote today. Yay! Thank you, Australia. Crappy that we had to even have a freaking fucking vote about it, but I'm so glad. And I think I could really feel that it was really important for those teaching, Donna's comment, teaching kids and men to take responsibility for their actions. A huge peeve of mine. It's not my fault and so made me do it. Yes. Yeah. We've lived, you know, every part of our culture seems to be about that. Look at what's going on with the Harvey Weinstein stuff. You know, all of a sudden people was having to start to be responsible for their actions. Whereas before it was, we had a system in place, we had a culture that allowed them to not have to take responsibility. So we're seeing big shifts in that. What feels overwhelming, Callie? Do you want to just elaborate? So yeah, I'll go back to the, I think it was really good for the LGBT, I can never remember, sorry, the gay and lesbian and transgender communities, to experience feeling the support of Australia, because I think they've been through fucking hard time dealing with the abuse, dealing with being separated yet again, and I really think we don't flourish and we do not thrive when we separate. I think there is an honouring that has to happen of our sovereignty, which we are sovereign beings, but that honouring of our sovereignty allows us to connect at higher levels, not through inclusion, not exclusion. So being responsible for where our money goes, the big corporation thing. Yes, that is overwhelming, Kelly. Like when you start to go into it, it's like, oh my God, because we really, when you look at so many things, you know, where does that money go? And all the things, when you start to become conscious of what we're buying, what we're spending our money on and where that's going. And even our banking, you know, we don't have a lot of conscious banks here in Australia. There are a few that are more conscious than the big ones, but so even our money flows through these systems that aren't very aligned with us. So what I've done, Kelly, is I take it in small steps, like what we were talking about before. Small steps. Just change one thing at a time. Don't, you know, like it can be overwhelming when it's like, oh my God, look at everything that I need to change or shift, or I don't even know where to buy that from, or what company to align with. So just take one small step at a time, one chunk at a time. Still worried about the 40% who voted no, though. I know it's still quite a high number, although I was reading somewhere about the statistics, if you put it in terms of senators, that it would be like 17 voting no and 111, 112 voting yes. So when you look at it down at those numbers, it's pretty good. And now we've just got to hope that the government put it through. But I could feel that it was really important for those who have felt marginalised to experience feeling supported. So I think that's wonderful. feel like I don't earn enough to make those choices. Yes. Isn't it interesting? Like, it's like that scarcity and lack, it becomes a self-fulfilling cycle. You know, we're going round and round and round. And what I've found is that the more that I just honor that, like we've had, while I was sick, we had very, very limited funds. Chris wasn't putting a lot into his business because he was caring for me. And we had no choice but to buy organic food because my body would react to anything else. So we literally had no choice. It was like I either get well or we spend less on food and buy foods with pesticides that were really, really affecting my body. And what I found through that experience, although like you go, this doesn't make sense financially, what I found is that there always seemed to be enough flow for those things that were aligned with our highest values. So it's a matter of trusting, and there's a big shift going on with money at the moment. I've talked to a lot of people. This video seems to be going into everything. A lot of people have been talking about money and how, especially a lot of people are feeling the restrictions this past year or two when it comes to money, because that is all shifting. And money itself is going to be working for your highest and best good. So it's going to want to serve you at your highest level, and it will stop flowing into areas that are not for your highest and best good, or into choices that are not for your highest and best good. So Kelly, when you're making those choices, just do one at a time and then see how it flows. There is an element of trust and faith in that, and it has to be fully aligned with you and where you're at. But it is a bit of a leap to get out of that scarcity into an abundance thinking. And it's a practice, you know, we have to keep practicing it. Like, no way have I got it right in any way, shape or form and got it all sorted. But I'm finding that each turn of the cycle that I'm clearing that up and coming more and more into those thriving paradigm rather than the scarcity and lack paradigm. So I hope that's made sense. Oh, that's awesome, Prue. So glad. Like, I was a bit sort of like, we've got all over the place today, but I'm so glad it is. It's wonderful. Yeah. And I think it all comes down to, you know, wellness wisdom. It's all part of that. The higher we are in that thriving energy in all areas of our life and more aligned with that, the more aligned we're with our higher energy, and that brings health and well-being into our body. So it's awesome. Have you guys got any more questions? Anything else? Any comments? I'll just wait and see if there's anything else there, because it feels like the energy is starting to flow down a little. Oh, we are definitely weaving together, Kelly. I love it. All of you that have been on today, it's been beautiful. I love it when that happens. It's fantastic. Thank you, Kelly, for your insights, and Donna and Prue for everybody being on, and Pam and Helen. I know I'm not sure all of you are on still, but thank you. Talking it through and asking for help. Oh, that is fantastic, Prue. Yay! Yay! I love it when that happens. Yeah. I love it when we get such a physical experience for ourselves. Like, it's really confirming. And I think we're getting more and more of that. It used to only be, or it wasn't only in the energetic, but it was easier to see there. It took a long time for it to flow into the physical, and now we're seeing it happening in the physical really, really quite quickly. That's awesome, Prue. Thanks, Kelly and Donna. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and enjoy just becoming aware of different areas where we're giving our power away or not being fully responsible and allowing ourselves to be led or marketed to in ways that aren't aligned with us, and, you know, enjoy finding different ways to make different choices that are aligned, and thinking about our values, because each of us is different. You know, you might not value organic food as much as I do in your life at the moment, and that's okay. There's no right or wrong with this. It's just about aligning with our higher values and keep moving up. Although I will say something about the organic food: much, much better for you. All the pesticides and fertilizers are killing us. They're all through the planet now. So just a little rant on that. No, but it has to be aligned with your highest values, and our values will shift and change too as we go through our journey. Much love to you too, Prue. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining me, and I will chat to you all next week. See yous.